Stop being emotional with your finance. Now, let me give you a backstory, right? Please ignore my, my facial look. I just woke up, right? So in 2022, in 2021, after I finished school, it was I think towards the end of the year, and then I decided that I need to stay in school in the school area because I was a freelancer and I was doing well on Fiverr as a freelancer. I built funnels, right? If you are new to my page, so fast forward to 2022. After my school, I rented an apartment, in the school area, and I was staying there, right? So I had a little issue with my finance. Fiverr blocked my account, and I had to open a new account and all of that. So I wasn't really making money, right? And then I remember when I was in this situation where I wasn't making money, and then I had no money on me because when I was freelancing, once I make money, I help people. I spend, I was spending the way I was making it, helping my family, helping my friends, even sometimes complete strangers, because I feel like the money will always keep coming. You just get the next gig on Fiverr, you have pending, you have fun spending on Fiverr. So I always feel comfortable because I feel like once you make money, you have to help people. Now helping people is good. So now let me continue with my story, right? So in 2022, Fiverr blocked my account, and I was struggling because I had no saving, because instead of me saving, I was trying to help people, and I was spending, right? So when I had the issue, and I was struggling with finance, nobody was able to come through for me. Nobody did. Not everyone I've helped, because actually they are also going through one or two on their own. That's when I realized that the little money you give people is not going to take them out of that particular situation they are in. It's going to help, but it's not going to change their life, right? So nobody was able to help me, with my finance and all of that. So and during that time, I had to move from that apartment to a different apartment for a different reason, right? So I was trying to raise money for my rent, and same situation. No one was able to help me with my rent, not even my family, not even my friends. All of them were giving me different stories and all of that. So during that time, my mom told me, what, just come home. You will start working from home. You start freelancing from home. Everyone was telling me to come home, and I was like, what, it doesn't make sense. When I was in school, I was living comfortably on my own. Living on the money I earned freelancing, and I was comfortable. So why would I want to go back home after school? And because I've really made plans without knowing my Fiverr account will be blocked, right? So what I'm just trying to say is that every people I've been sending money to, none of them were able to help me because I was spending money emotionally. Like, I try to help people because I feel emotionally connected to them, and I feel like I understand where we are all coming from. You understand? Without putting myself first and saving first or investing first, right? And I remember during that time there was a friend of mine who advised me to buy bikes, and give it out on hire purchase, which been bringing me money every week. But I ignored that because I felt I was making money in dollar, I was comfortable, all of that. So back into my story. I wanted to rent a new apartment, and no one was able to help me with the funds, not even people that have helped, right? So when they were telling me to come back home, I just told myself I was never going back home, because I've raised my standards, and I'm not going to just shrink back into whatever box I was in before, right? So I summoned the courage. I went using Fair Money. You guys know all this loan app, Fair Money, PalmPay. I borrowed money, and then I rented a new apartment. Now this time around, I left the school environment. I was still in the same state as where I schooled, but in a different city. So I rented a new apartment, and I kept a low profile. Low profile. Nobody knew what was going on with me for like a year. I just kept grinding, and thank God Fiverr brought an offer whereby they allow you to run ads on their platform. So I run ads, and that was how I started getting gigs back and making money. Now when I started making money, I have learnt my lesson. I wasn't public about it, or not. I didn't even tell my mom, things were already going better. Instead, I kept a low profile, and that's when I realized that even without me trying to come through for anybody, everyone would actually figure things out on their own. They would figure things out on their own. So this time around, I planned in secret. I made money, pay off my debts, and after paying off my debt, this time around, I planned with my finance logically, not emotionally. Right, so the first thing I did was I opened a provision store, and my younger sister was we schooled in the same polytechnic, right? So I called her over, and then we had a conversation. I told her I want to open a provision store. Now listen to me, guys. This time around, When I came up with the idea and we both thought it was a good idea, I didn't put my girlfriend there. Now listen, what we did was that I rented the provision store, I furnished it and everything, and then we both agreed that the best person to help me run this provision store was our mom, my mom, right? Now this is weird because still, even though I was in a different city, I was still close to my school area, right? Everyone living in my apartment are probably students, who go to school from there. So I brought my mom down, and I was saying in just a room self-con, one room self-con, right? I brought my mom down, took her to the store, and I told her that she'll be the one to help me manage it, right? Now, a lot of people were not comfortable with that, most especially, my neighbors who were living, and they were like, you're a young guy, why are you still living with your mom? But they didn't understand, the kind of lesson life has taught me. So I brought my mom over, and then my mom was helping me to manage this, the store, because I believe one thing: if you are able to, get to a stage whereby you don't have to worry about, where your next meal is coming from, you can achieve anything. And that was exactly what my mom would help me, solve. By her coming, staying with me, running the provision store, 100%, I know where my next meal is coming from, right? So that takes away the pressure of, me having to always make money every time, because she managed the provision store perfectly well. So, after this store, the next thing I did was that I bought bikes. I bought my first bike, and, this bike would help me take my mom to the store, and then, it works from there. So, and it was making a daily delivery to me every day. It delivers 2,000, naira. So in a week, it was delivering around, I think, 12,000 naira, 12,000 naira then. You can see this time around, instead of me telling the whole world or telling people that now I'm comfortable, I'm making money, and everyone started asking me for money, I was, investing in secret, right? So I bought my bike. The bike would take my mom to the provision store while the bike, goes out there to work. So I was making money from my mom, right? Because, she sells, and the transfer is being made into my own personal account, right? And then the bike was also working, and I was getting daily delivery, right? So by doing that while I was still freelancing, that really gave me it made me comfortable with my finance, because I'm earning money from about 3 sources now. Now, from the provision store, from the bike, from the freelancing business I was running, I was able to buy my second bike. Now I have 2 bikes, I have a provision store, and I'm also offering my services on Fiverr, building funnels and all of that. So I was very, very comfortable. So what I'm just trying to say is that, don't be emotional with your finance. Be logical with it. When you make money, you invest, you save, and then you spend. You don't spend first. You don't spend first. You invest first. You understand? And then you plan in silence. You plan in silence. You cannot solve everyone's problem. You can never. The little amount you give them is not going to change their life. Yeah, it might help, right? But you have to understand that you need to prioritize yourself first. It's only when you can help yourself, you can help other people. It's only when you are comfortable yourself, you can, help other people as well. So prioritize yourself, prioritize your finance, and, that's how you can grow and also help the people you love.